Hi guys, and welcome to Football Canapes for this video. And yeah, as you probably for this video, and as you would have probably heard or read, read that in this video we are going to talk about the transfer window, what's likely to happen, what's not likely to happen. Uh, as you know, it's closing pretty soon. Friday, the 30th of August is the deadline for the transfer window to close. Uh, it's 11 p.m. British Standard Time, which is about 3:30 a.m. in India, and 3:30 a.m. in India, and yeah, so we'll see what happens in eventuality. But in this video, we are going to be talking about what does happen, and what does happen, and we'll discuss what is the probability, what each club probably needs, and then we'll talk about, I mean, we'll talk about if that is good enough for the goals that a club has, and whether they can get there, given given the given the resources that they have at their disposal at the end of Friday. And then there will have to be culling down of the squads, and who's likely to come in, who's likely to move out. It's not about just English players. It's about the clubs from around the European continent, and how that is likely to go. But first things first, we must acknowledge the sad news that is coming in, that former England football manager Sven Göran Eriksson has passed away at the age of 76. Uh, the news came today. It's pretty sad news that he's no more, and yeah, I mean, he was a decent manager for England, in my opinion, and I mean, he passed away. He was suffering from terminal pancreatic cancer, and I mean, it was in the news that he had only a limited time to live. But yeah, I mean, it's sad that Sven has left us, which, I mean, in the football fraternity, it's it is what it is. And I mean, his soul rest in peace. So that's let's move on now. Let's just start with the Premier League itself. The I mean, the transfer window is reaching its conclusion, and it's it's reaching its conclusion. As I said, Friday, the 30th of August, is the deadline day when everything needs to be sorted out, and you won't be getting chances up until January. And given that we have already had Euros, players might not be at their best in this particular window. In this, may not be up to speed, may not be fully fit. And then for many clubs, next season there is the Club World Cup, which is the expanded version of the event. Then it's imperative that their squad is up to the task. Anyways, let's begin with Manchester United. We'll talk about Manchester United first. It's been an interesting window for Manchester United when you talk about the transfers. As far as incoming transfers are concerned, from what I understand or what I've seen, they've signed Lenny Yoro, an 18-year-old centre half from Lille, for about $52 million. They've signed Joshua Zirkzee for, I mean, like 42 million euros or 34 million pounds. If you want to talk about, they I mean, they brokered a deal where they'll pay extra, so that instead of paying everything up front, they'll pay in three equal installments, which Bologna agreed to, and I guess that allowed them to spend some money as well. They've brought in Matthias Delict, as well as his former Bayern and Ajax teammate in Nusser Mazraoui as well. Mazraoui has started two games. Delict has come on in the two games, and it's I mean too early to pass judgment on those two. These four players have come in. They've signed a youngster, Sekou something Fofana, or who apparently did really well in the under 19 World Cup or something like that. They've also agreed with the Obi Martins, who's a youngster with Arsenal, 16-year-old, really highly rated, but that move still yet to be is still yet to be confirmed, and let's wait and see how far that goes. So let's wait and see how far that goes. Um, but there is still a lot of work for Arsenal to do in this transfer window, or for Manchester United to do in this transfer window. The Manuel Ugarte transfer is a really big one. It has been in the pipeline for so long that feels like Manuel Ugarte is a Manchester United player. He's just like somehow doing something and just waiting to come on board. But PSG and Manchester United, under their new ownership, if I can call it, in the ownership in the playing sense, Ineos group that they have, they just can't come to a agreement where they both agree. Yes, this is what we are looking for. This is what we want. This is the price that we are looking for. And This is the price we are looking for. Can you just agree to pay that? And it's just not working out between the two clubs. Initial reports were that Manchester United might sign him on a permanent basis. Then there was news that it might be loan with an obligation to buy. Then it was, let's in. Then it was that Manchester United. Then it was like Manchester United to sell players as well. Scott McTominay, who played on Saturday against Brighton, came on as a substitute, but it now appears that he's well on his way to Napoli. And Talking of Napoli, we'll touch on Victor Osimhen to Chelsea as well, if that is a possibility or not, because that's that could be a big game changer for Chelsea. Anyways, let's just come back to Manchester United for the time being. for the time being. They yeah. So Scott McTominay uh, is well on his way to Napoli. So that means Manchester United have funds, and Manuel Ugarte could sign from PSG. But I mean, for whatever it's worth, it just doesn't seem to be coming to a conclusion. I mean. It just doesn't seem to be coming to a conclusion. I mean, as I sit and talk, there isn't anything that is going on between the two clubs that I can discuss with you. Uh, he has missed PSG's two games against Brest as well as Montpellier, which PSG won 6-0, and I mean, so I mean, and the thing is that Manchester United desperately need a player like Manuel Ugarte. It's a long season for Manchester United. They've got plenty of matches when the Europa League kicks in, when they get into the what do you call the Carabao Cup, and from their point of view, they would want to go into the later stages of both the cups, which Manchester United have won in the last two seasons. In 23, they won the Carabao Cup, and last season, in fact, in May, they they won uh, the uh, they won the uh, they won the what do you call FA Cup. So they would want to go deep into these competitions, and they definitely need a defensive midfielder. They also have agreed a deal with Burnley to sell their one of their youngsters in Hannibal Mabry. So that's another player of the books. So that at least in some sense should free up some wages, although the terms with the Uruguayan, I mean Manuel Ugarte, are more or less agreed. Need to adjust this thing. I mean, just a minute. So they need to I mean, do something, because they can't be just going into the season with, especially with McTominay leaving. Kobe Manu is just 19, so that is another thing that they need to be on top of. Kobe Manu cannot be playing week in week out, 3 games a week up until January, and then depending on how Manchester United are placed. So, and there's this news that Jadon Sancho might uh, I mean, he's desperate to move out of Manchester United. He's desperate to move out of Manchester United, but who's going to take his wages, astronomical wages? I'm not sure how much is on, perhaps north of 250,000 pounds per week, which I mean, apart from a handful of clubs, no one can afford. So no one can afford, and his relationship with Eric Ten Hag seems broken and beyond repair, and he's I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad character or anything like that, but a disgruntled player perhaps better off somewhere else rather than in your squad. So in terms of that, Jadon Sancho is better off elsewhere than at Manchester United. There's been talk of a swap deal with Raheem Sterling as well as maybe Ben Chilwell, but Manchester United have no interest in seem to have no interest in uh, in uh, uh, in Ben Chilwell. At least they, I mean, you could think of Trevor Chalobah as well, but would they want Trevor Chalobah? I mean, they're stacked with central defenders. If Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof move on, then maybe. But as for now, it it does look like a bit of a stalemate with just 4 days, 4.5 days till the transfer window slams shut. I'm pretty sure transfer window in some of the European nations like Turkey will remain open. But Jadon Sancho, Can you see him going to Turkey? I definitely can't. Because Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, uh, or Trabzonspor or whatever, Antalyaspor, they can't afford his wages. Definitely not. Manchester United will have to carry a big big chunk of those wages to make sense out of I mean like of sense for that transfer to go ahead and it has to happen in these 4.5 days remaining. And I mean McTominay going, Mabry going, uh, Rasmus Højlund has been a bit injury prone in his 13 14 months that he has been at Old Trafford. So I mean, could Manchester United do with an attacker as well? There was a report earlier in the season that Chibo Obi Martins, which I mean still isn't technically a Manchester United player, could be the third striker. Manchester United, I mean, Bruno Fernandes playing as a false nine is I mean takes away big chunk of creativity. Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, two players who can perhaps press, but their presence in the midfield leaves a gaping hole. Casemiro moving on. Casemiro, when I mean like in the middle of September, October, November, and December, when the big games come in thick and fast. I mean, you would need to rest Kobe Manu and Casemiro. Do Manchester United have a defensive midfielder? Probably not. Manuel Ugarte, new to the Premier League, will he able will he be able to handle the intensity, the pace? Because he was playing in Portugal in the season before previous one, then in League One, where I personally can't speak of the pace and the intensity of League One, but but with PSG at least it's a bit easier because you are playing in a team where your where your team is going to dominate at least 60% of the possession in majority of the game. So uh, whether whether it is a true test of a person's ability, I don't know. PSG won Liga at a canter last season. They reached the Champions League final. I don't remember him playing in the Champions League semi-final against Dortmund. I watched both legs closely against Dortmund, and he didn't play. It was Warren Emery, and Kangen Lee and these players. So it is a bit. I mean, like they. I mean, Manchester United would be taking a sort of a chance if they went into the season with with only these players. So I mean, We'll see what happens with Manchester United. Adrian Rabiot is another player that has been mentioned, but his wages would just cripple any of the big clubs. So we'll we'll see what happens um, with those as well, and with those as well. So it'll be. I mean, it'll be interesting, to check how Manchester United pivot if they are need if they need to, because I mean, as a student who has studied economics, PSG are perhaps in a better position than Manchester United in terms of FFP. We saw that report which said that the Premier League gave Manchester United, about 70 odd million relief when it came to PSR. So, as the Windows deadline gets closer, who do you think is more likely to blink? City, oh sorry, PSG or Manchester United. Manchester United, they need the player. They know they need the player. PSG know that Manchester United need the player, and they are going to make them, go backwards. I mean, bend them backwards. I mean to say, and so it it is. It is going to be interesting, certainly, to check out who blinks in this race, and where uh, where this thing heads. So it's really interesting where it goes. Do you think Manuel Ugarte will be a Manchester United player? There's a strong chance he will be, but I mean, there are going to be small wins and small losses when big clubs come head to head. Plus, Manchester United were at one point of time, they were, if you remember, that they were Qatar. Someone from Qatar was wanting to buy Manchester United, and PSG are owned by Qatar, so they would they would not want to go, like that. PSG, Qatar, that kind of chemistry or symphony or synergy like that. So there is a lot of things that are at stake, which need to happen. So I mean, like, most probably Manuel Ugarte will be a Manchester United player. I'm pretty sure Manchester United do could do with another player if Christian Eriksen is going to leave. So that is another thing that we have to keep in mind, because player exits can come in at any time. There's Who else could go if you look at Manchester United squad? I mean, Marcus Rashford certainly isn't going to go. Marcus Rashford isn't going to go. No, Anthony might leave, but I genuinely don't think he'll be leaving Manchester United. He's been a big disappointment for big disappointment for Manchester United, if you ask me. Big disappointment for Manchester United, you ask me. There have been rumblings of discontent at the weekend. I didn't notice it, but I was watching on another YouTube channel where they said Anthony bottled a 50-50, which led to the Brighton winner by João Pedro. So so yeah, I mean, like, remains to be seen if Manchester United do let players leave as well. Another other French players, Sancho, we've already discussed. We've We've already talked about other players, Sancho, and who else could leave? Who else could leave? I mean, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, these kind of players may may bid farewell. Harry Maguire the flavor of the month isn't the flavor of month at Manchester United. So remains to be seen. Remains to be seen if Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof or both, because Johnny Evans is there. Lenny Yoro will be fit by November, maybe December. Delict, Lisandro Martinez. There's no left back as such. Harry MS may get his chances. So that kind of stuff with the Manchester United will always be interesting. That kind of dynamic, that kind of chemistry in terms of squad. Uh, Ten Hag, his future, but that is for a later date. Anyways, let's move on to Liverpool. I mean, there is there's very little to talk about in comics. They haven't signed anybody. In fact, they have today signed Georgi Marmardashvili from Valencia, but he's going back on loan. He'll become a Liverpool player in 2025. 30 million euro in fixed fee plus 5 million in add-ons, which are easy to achieve add-ons, and then that will be followed by uh, uh, I mean, there's a 10% sell-on clause as well. Remains to be seen what else Liverpool do. They were strongly linked with the Martin Zubimendi. I mean, linked. The move was basically agreed, but Zubimendi is, I mean, he won the Euros with Spain. He decided to stay at Real Sociedad. Really pretty area of Spain in northeast or north Spain, Bilbao, that kind of area. So very close to France. In fact, some of the Basque area is in the Marseille area as well. So Martin Zubimendi remains in Sociedad. They've linked with Anthony Gordon of Newcastle United, which really disappoints me because I'm a Newcastle fan, and I don't want to see Anthony Gordon moving to Liverpool or any other club for that matter, because I genuinely want Anthony Gordon to stay. He was player of the season for me as a Newcastle United fan, but he's been linked with Liverpool. Liverpool have been looking at attacking players or defensive midfielders because Wataru Endo and Ryan Gravenberch, you can't be going into the season just based on you know just based I mean like just for just with just two defensive midfielders. They have a lot of uh, they have got a lot of games this season. League 8 games, and Champions League they've got 8 games. They are involved in both domestic cups. Arne Slot would want to make his impression. He's already said that, or at least conveyed that he's not a big fan of 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 Wataru, and although he played against Brentford yesterday, so remains to be seen if Endo remains remains at I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll remain at Liverpool, but how much part he plays in the season up ahead, so remains to be seen. Anyways, so in terms of outgoings, we've seen very little of Joe Gomez, who's part of the England team at the Euros. I don't think he played any particular game in that tournament. So I mean, it'll be interesting if he moves on, because Liverpool are really quite short of on center halves. They've got three. I mean, if you count Gomez, then four. I mean, in Van Dijk, Konate, Kwanzaa, Gomez. Uh, if you want to say, I mean, count Reese Williams and Nathaniel Phillips, then it's up to you. But if they are starting the games, then I mean, you must be really short on numbers. I just wanted to say it in a different way, but won't be surprising if Liverpool did more business come at the end of the season. But I mean, sitting here right now, I don't know what Liverpool are looking at. I mean, Luis Diaz scored yesterday. Some Liverpool fans are not particularly big fans of Luis Diaz, so are not particularly big fans of Luis Diaz. He's like he's like English Aaron Lennon or something like that. That's what he's been called. So that ways Liverpool need to need to be um, they need to be I mean, if they go into this season just with uh, the squad that they have right now, they'll find it really tough. The way Arne Slot wants them to play, it could catch up with them. They finished third last season, and I mean, if you compare, they haven't made any improvements to the squad. So that ways, I mean, in terms of links as well, there's not much out there. In terms of attack, I'm sure they're pretty much sorted. Injury wise, Curtis Jones is a bit injury prone. They have sold a few of the youngsters in Bobby Clark, Fabio Carvalho, and another one that they have sold. I'm not remembering the name, but in terms of attacking midfield, they have got plenty. Harvey Elliott came on yesterday, and so that ways it's pretty settled. So let's see how it goes for Liverpool. Um Chelsea. Let's just talk about Chelsea. We'll talk about Arsenal next, and how the Gunners are shaping up for the season. They've won two out of their two games, um, and they won two out of their two games, and they won both the games. So Chelsea, I mean, like it's a bit of a Pandora's box out there. There's there's things that I mean going hourly basis on a hourly basis. Even today, the incomings, the outgoings, it's like a bit of a revolving door where one moment someone is coming in, the other moment someone is going out, someone is heading on loan, someone is coming in loan, deals falling through, deals going through. So that ways it's a bit of a you know I mean, it's tough to keep up. I mean, like how Chelsea fans are keeping up is I mean, it's a big credit to them. So, um, as you well know, I'm pretty sure you do that that the situation with the situation with the situation with Raheem Sterling, Ben Chilwell, and Trevor Chalobah is kind of they are in between. I mean, they are not neither here nor there. I mean, they are neither here nor there. Um, uh, the manager Enzo Maresca has told them to find a new club in no uncertain terms, and and uh, and I mean all three of them. I mean Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell definitely are England international. Trevor Chalobah, he came into the team last season and did really well towards the back end of the season. The fact that Chelsea are in UEFA Europa Conference League in big thanks to Trevor Chalobah. He scored goals as well. He scored a goal against Tottenham, if I'm not wrong, and so I'm fairly certain that they will find clubs. If not, then they'll be training with the reserves and all. I mean they'll be they'll be training with the reserves and all, and that's that would be rather unfortunate for all of them because they're players with pedigree and uh, and and I mean no one deserves that after having tried their best for the club. But in terms of outgoings, there's talk of David Datro Fofana going on loan. I forget where he's been rumored to go. Uh, where he's been rumored to go. David Datro Fofana might go out, but mentioned the three names earlier, and apart from that, David. Apart from that, Axel Disasi might go out on loan as well. Benwa Badishile, I'm pretty sure Chelsea will listen to offers. There are so many players at Chelsea. I mean, like there was a midfielder that they had on loan last season, Cesare Casadei. Romeo Lavia can't get in the team. Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez is even the captain. So I mean, Chelsea. This. I mean, like I think there would be a big. Um, I mean, you would need, or someone like Sky Sports would need, two reporters at Chelsea on uh, on the 30th of August to check all the business that they do in the on the last day of the season, and like all the business that they do, and then incoming as well as outgoing. So it'll be it'll be quite a spectacle in that regard because uh, Cesare Quesada I've mentioned Romeo Lavia, Carney Chukwuemeka. Then there is Leslie Ogo Chukwu as well. These three or four players. I'm not sure what will happen. Aaron Anselmino, or maybe he's still on loan at uh, at Boca Juniors. Not sure what his status is. So it'll be it'll be it'll be interesting to see how it goes and how it goes. How it goes. So in terms of incomings, yes, we'll be talking about that as well. So uh, Victor Osimhen, they have been trying to sign Victor Osimhen. They've been trying to sign Victor Osimhen. Although his wage demands have kind of put a dampener on how the deal is likely to proceed. Uh, he's apparently, according to reports, he's asking for what 500 and five half a million a week, which is, I mean, unsustainable for any club. I mean, Chelsea, they have their revenue streams, but in terms of revenue streams as well, they if you look at it, then you see that they don't have what do you call they don't have the shirt sponsors as well. So that ways it'll be tough. It'll be tough for them to tough to pay that kind of wages for any player, let alone Victor Osimhen. Although Napoli have, I mean, surprisingly dropped their asking price for Osimhen. 65 million euros is all they are asking, but the wages could cripple any club. Saudi clubs, Al Ahly, perhaps are willing to pay him that kind of money, but he apparently doesn't want to go to Al Ahly or anywhere in Saudi Arabia. So that uh, that uh, that deal remains in the air somewhat. But Chelsea do need a striker as well. Although, I mean, like, I might be contradicting myself because because if you look at it, they have got Nicholas Jackson, they've got Nkunku, and they have got Joao Felix as well. And in on the wings, they have people who can provide service to all these players. So I mean, that ways we saw yesterday how they um, completely dismantled Wolves. Um, uh, they beat them 6-2, and they beat them 6-2, which was and like a mauling, especially in the second half. In the first half, it was it was it was I mean a blitzkrieg, if you ask me. Wolves had no answer to what Chelsea threw at them. Noni Madueke was good. Joao Felix scored on his second Chelsea debut as well. So that ways it was it was, I mean, quite a brilliant performance by Chelsea. So, I mean, that may alter their thinking. Jackson is there. Reece James will be fit. He can provide him with good service. So that ways it'll be I mean it will be pretty good. I don't see them linked with any other players right now. To be honest, I don't see them getting linked with other players right now. I mean, nothing comes to mind. Let's just have a have a you know if anything, we are seeing more of exit related articles that Kepa Arrizabalaga might might go maybe to Crystal Palace or something like that, and and so I mean Kepa, Romelu Lukaku has gone, and Raheem Sterling we have already discussed. There's I mean and and I mean I just don't know that uh, they've already lost Conor Gallagher, so that kind of thing is uh, is taken care of. So in terms of that, I genuinely can't see them bringing anyone in of note in particular, but but uh, uh, but yeah, I mean it's Chelsea and anything is possible with 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 the players they've got. So that's about Chelsea, and that's about Chelsea and Arsenal. Let's just talk about Arsenal. They had a pretty strong squad last season. They've added to it. They haven't. I mean, like, I don't think they've officially announced Mikel Merino as well. He was at Newcastle, what, 6 or 7 years ago, and he was pretty decent. If you ask me, he was outstanding, and that was a time when Newcastle were perhaps not as good as they are now, and he stood out like a you know like a he stood out like a star in that team. Unfortunately, had a back injury, missed a few games, and then he was basically playing catch up. But so Mikel Merino is going to be a big star for Arsenal if and when I'm I'm whenever it is announced. I'm not sure if it is announced as of yet or not. So we'll 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 wait and see how far that goes. So that's one to keep an eye out on. And Ricardo Calafiori, who was super for Bologna last season, him and Joshua Zirkzee have moved on. In fact, their manager has gone to Juventus as well, former Barca player and Italian international. Um, Italian international in Thiago Motta. So, 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 I mean, Arsenal look really good. Julian Timber is back this season, and Julian Timber is back. So, that way is Arsenal. I mean, in terms of as a squad, they look strong. Eddie Nketiah has been linked with a move away. Jesus has been a bit of an injury prone striker ever since he has joined Man City. Oh, sorry, he joined from Man City um, to come to Arsenal. So that ways it's it's a bit of a nightmare for him. So remains to be seen how his situation progresses. How his situation progresses. Apart from that, have Arsenal lost anything? Eddie Nketiah has left. In terms of midfield, they still look pretty strong with Jorginho, Thomas Partey, um, Mikel Merino has come in, Declan Rice, and who else? Odegaard. So they look pretty strong in all departments, and and hopefully as a Premier League spectacle. We will see good competition played out between all the top contenders. More the merrier. If Arsenal can keep pace with Manchester City. And up next, we will talk about Manchester City. Matthias Nunes has been linked with an exit today. The report says that Manchester City will perhaps look for look for will entertain offers for the Portuguese and for the Portuguese. So let's see if he moves on. But just to finish off on Arsenal, um, Ramsdale might move on. Ramsdale might move on. So uh, that's uh, that's uh, that's one thing, because David Raya has signed permanently from Brentford. Um, David Raya has signed permanently from Brentford. So Ramsdale might move on. I'm pretty sure they've signed a goalkeeper from US or someplace, Mike Penders, or has he gone to Chelsea? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that Arsenal have signed a goalkeeper as well. And as we move along, he'll Aaron Ramsdale will certainly have to find a new club if he wants to continue as a England international as well. So remains to be seen. But Arsenal as a squad do look pretty strong, and going into the season, they should defensively keep most teams out, or outscore most teams. And Manchester City, they've signed two players this season, Savinho and or Savio, however you want to call him. However you want to pronounce his name. And and Ilkay Gundogan is back at the club after spending one season at Barcelona. So one season at Barcelona. Uh, I mean, they've lost a few youngsters who they had out on loan. João Cancelo might finally move on permanently from the club. I don't see any future for him. Rico Lewis can play at right back. Uh, Kyle Walker looks like for now he's the undisputed number one. And once he's fit, he will take that place. By fit, I mean he's match fit. If when he's match fit, he'll be he'll be uh, he'll be playing in most of the games. Rodri, he's just a machine. Kovacic is also very good, but he's no Rodri. So in terms of attack, Haaland looks good. Foden, Grealish, Doku. Although I'm personally not a big fan of Jeremy Doku, so that ways it'll be it'll be it'll be interesting to see how Manchester City squad shapes up. Uh, but I mean, doubts are I mean doubts are likely to be there, given that there are Kevin De Bruyne is uh, is uh, is uh, is a year older. Haaland, if he gets injuries, then what are Manchester City going to do? So that ways it's that's Bernardo Silva. I mean, these kind of players. How it is going to turn out for 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 Manchester City remains to be seen. They could, in fact, win an unprecedented fifth Premier League title in a row. No one has ever won four in a row, let alone five. So that ways it'll be you know it'll be a big challenge for them. They would want to do well in the Champions League as well. Last time out, they were eliminated by Real Madrid on penalties, and Pep wouldn't want to repeat that. So, I mean, I am no one to question Pep. Obviously not. So that ways, it's it's it'll be. I mean, it will be quite interesting. I mean, there will be a lot of scrutiny on Arsenal. Oh, sorry, on Manchester City, especially with those charges that are hanging over their head. The arbitration case, so everything will be scrutinized to the nth degree and to the nth degree and yeah. So that ways it will be one which would require keen analysis of the stuff that is going on in with Manchester City. Anyway, I've spoken enough about Manchester City. Let's talk about other clubs. Some other clubs. There are other clubs uh, in the Premier League as well. Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest. It was muted that they would sign Mexican striker Santiago Jimenez, but there have been reports in the last few minutes that he has apparently rejected a move to Nottingham Forest, and he's likely to stay at Feyenoord, the club from Rotterdam. So it will be it will be a blow for it will be a blow for if it will be a big blow for it will be a big blow for Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace have been looking at Eddie Nketiah. Nottingham Forest, they play what is it, Monday, right? So they play in the Carabao Cup game on Wednesday against Newcastle United. So against Newcastle United, they'll play. Um, I mean, Chris Wood, if is that good enough for a season where the pressure is going to be on Nuno Espirito Santo as well. So it's it's uh, it's I mean, they need a striker. They can't just rely on Morgan Gibbs White and other players. They need some support as well, and and remains to be seen if that deal can be reignited. And these are just reports, so not sure if how much truth there is in those reports. So let's just wait and watch before we reach any conclusions. Nottingham Forest. I mean, I don't remember them signing anyone of note. They've signed Elliot Anderson from Newcastle United. So from Newcastle United, and I mean, he never scored for Newcastle United, although he had one goal disallowed against Nottingham Forest, wrongly so, in my opinion. And 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 uh, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Anthony Langa. So I mean these players will be heavily relied on for goals as far as Nottingham Forest are concerned. So let's see where Nottingham Forest end up in terms of that. Uh, Other clubs, Newcastle United. As a Newcastle fan, I'm really disappointed with how the club has been going. I don't know the inner workings of the club. Obviously not. So that way is it's it's a bit of a mess basically from the outside. Um, we've got five goalkeepers in the squad. There's Nick Pope, Martin Dubravka, Odysseus Vlacher, Demos, Mark Gillespie, as well as John Ruddy. So five keepers. Plus, we've been linked with another one of those goalkeepers again today, and so I'm not sure what we are going to do with keepers. We definitely desperately need a center half and a right winger. Players need to be moved on as well. So that ways there's plenty to be worked upon by Newcastle United. And given how the summer has gone, the PSR debacle in June, Anthony Gordon has been linked away, Bruno Guimaraes has been linked away, and Alexander Isak has been linked. I'm not saying they were strong links or anything like that, but they were linked with other clubs, big clubs, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal. So that ways I mean it's worrisome, and especially this season when European competition is the minimum requirement in many supporters' eyes, including mine. I just feel that there's a chance that we are missing out on stuff. So remains to be seen how Newcastle react in this 4.5 weeks that are left of this transfer window. Mark Gahey, if that happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the truth is, the club desperately needs a center half, right-sided center half. There are so many injuries. The good news: Sandro Tonali's ban gets over tomorrow, and he's available to play in the next game against Nottingham Forest, and that should come in as a relief. But how much relief that is going to provide, I personally can't say. Uh, it might take him 3 or 4 match days to get match fit, and he's been playing in some behind closed door friendlies. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get some players in to finally the table. Although so far this season it's been okay. The draw against Bournemouth yesterday was not the best, but well, it will have to do for now. Up next, Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League and Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup for Newcastle. Other clubs, Tottenham, I don't see them doing much. If anything, they might lose out. They might sell players. Um, they have supported. Bolstered their squad with Archie Gray. They've signed Wilson Odobert from uh, Burnley. Burnley have signed today signed Hannibal Mabry, and they've also signed Dominic Solanke. Um, in terms of defense, I don't think they need much, but they've got a decent sort of a defense in there, and decent sort of defense in there, and the three players that they signed, Archie Gray, Wilson Odobert, and Dominic Solanke, so all good young players. Although not sure how long Dominic Solanke will be out. He missed the game against Everton. Bad game to miss. He could have opened his Spurs scoring account with that game, but 4-0. For it was for 4-0. Um, it was for 4-0. It was for Spurs. Could have been more. I mean, Jordan Pickford was pretty bad, to be honest, and uh, and and yeah, so Everton, they look in real big trouble. But one team that I wanted to definitely talk about was Brighton. But Everton first. They've signed Jesper Lindstrom, uh, Jake O'Brien. They've signed Jake O'Brien, and then they've signed uh, they've signed other players as well. Who am I forgetting? In midfield, they signed a youngster from Aston Villa, Irombungum or something like that. I'm sorry, I know I butchered the pronunciation, but I butchered the pronunciation, but he's signed, and uh, and and yeah, so but they do look in awful amount of, they've still got what Ashley Young as right back, who's I mean, like, who's not young, who's younger than me anyways, but that's not the point. So Ashley Young, they've still got, and but they do look in an awful amount of trouble. Everton, up next for them is Bournemouth, who have drawn two games but have looked good in those two games. Could have won both. Would be counting themselves as unlucky, having lost both, or drawn both. I mean, so that ways I mean it's it's I mean, yeah. So, but Everton, what will be. They've been struggling with they have been struggling with uh, their positioning. They were deducted 8 points last season. Could have been 12 or 14, and could have been 14, and could have been 14. But I wanted to talk about Brighton. Uh, what a brilliant window they have had. They've just signed Matt O'Reilly from Celtic, who's a highly rated player, and who's a highly rated player, and the talk is they will sign for Kadioglu as well. In terms of midfield, they've signed what's his name? James Milner on a free. That's a good acquisition for them. And up top, they've got Yankuma Minted, who they signed from Newcastle United. So that's another positive for them. Um, um, I'm pretty sure I'm missing out on some of the players as well. João Pedro looks in good form. Uh, Billy Gilmore looks to be back to his best. Solly March isn't playing. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. Karuma Toma. So so that ways it's a bit of a it's 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 I know Brighton have a young manager, but in terms of quality, etc., they do look pretty well placed. Fabian Hertzler, it will be a big test of him. He was previously managing in the second division of Bundesliga with the St. Pauli, which is a club in the north of Germany, close to, very close to Hamburg. They have a rivalry with Hamburg. So, I mean, it will be, it will be, it will be uh, interesting and one which we should keep an keen eye out on and so so I mean, let's see if if Brighton, they start really well, if they can keep up their early season form going into the later half of the season, because they always kind of drop off. So yeah. Any other club that I wanted to touch upon? Leicester. I mean, in terms of Leicester, I think it will be a long, hard season for Leicester. Um, uh, they'll be hit with penalties. I have no doubt about that. They breached PSR on a lot of issues, and on a lot of issues. Last season they could have been docked points as well. They weren't, but this season they are just they've just you know it's like the cat has gotten his or her nine lives and there's no 10th life. And Leicester, they were poor against Fulham, who have done good business as well. Let's see if they bring in another midfielder, Emil Smith Rowe, who scored his first Fulham goal. Uh, so they've lost Joe Palinia, which is a big miss, but Emil Smith Rowe has come in. Scott McTominay, as I told you, is probably going to Napoli, and that ways they might turn their attentions elsewhere. So so let's see if they if they bring in anybody else. I'm just like continuously monitoring if there is any deal that is close to being happening, or any sort of here we goes or something like that. Um, so so that's that's just checking a few things. So let's. I mean, Fulham, as I said, have had a decent window. Emil Smith Rowe, they've re-signed Joachim Anderson as well from Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace might lose Mark Gahey as well, and John Felipe Mateta, and they've lost both their they could lose their both their center halves. They've lost Michael Olise as well. They brought in Daichi Kamada. So, but I mean, they have looked decent. And up next for Crystal Palace is is Chelsea, who I mentioned earlier, beat Wolves 6-2 yesterday. So uh, that uh, that is another uh, thing for them. They need to sort out things and quickly. Adam Wharton is the diamond that they have Ebereche as well. So Aston Villa, I think they're more or less done. They might bring in a striker, but their business was more or less concluded in the first bit of the season and first bit of the season. I mean, news is coming in, but I mean nothing that I mean news is coming in that Al Hali has have reached have reached you know have reached a, have agreed a price with have agreed a price with Manchester City for João Cancelo, and and a deal could be happening fast. Whether Cancelo wants to go to Saudi Arabia and Al Ahly in particular, I don't know, but we'll find out. We will find out, and 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 let's see what happens. I was talking about Aston Villa as well. Aston Villa, they sold Douglas Luiz, but they have brought in Enzo Barrenechea, and they've also brought in who else have they brought in? They've uh, brought in a defender, a good defender. I mean, like the name Ian Matson for Ian Matson as left back, but Lucas Digne has started. Lucas Digne has started the two games at left back, and so I mean that is an interesting deal. I'm pretty sure going forward it'll be Ian Matson long term who plays Oliver Watkins. They sold Musa Diaby, and so West Ham is one team I somehow contrived to forget. They've signed good players as well. Nicholas Füllkrug, the German international, he's he's uh, he's uh, he's uh, he's uh, he's going to be a handful. Uh, Gearman that they've signed. Uh, Aaron Van Bissaka, although I'm not particularly a big fan of Van Bissaka, but he's a decent player, and he's a decent player, and I mean, who should serve West Ham well? Uh, James Ward-Prowse is someone who looks like who is on the um, looks like who might move on. I don't know who would want him, but I mean, like, I don't mean in it in a disrespectful sort of a way, but I don't mean it in a disrespectful sort of a way, but just that we can't see him going back to Southampton, but other clubs who needs I mean, like um play like him right now, like a midfielder. I mean, he's good and all, but so that ways I meant, I didn't mean it in a disrespectful sort of a way. to to be honest, and so let's see if Ward-Prowse stays at stays at West Ham or not, because he hasn't been given any game time in. Uh, I mean, maybe he would be better served going elsewhere. So I'm pretty sure I'm missing out on some West Ham players as well. Uh, Kudush, Bowen. So these players, these players. I mean, like these players. So yeah. I mean, sorry, I keep checking. So there might be a bit of a pause. That ways, apologies with that. Um, and yeah, so I'm pretty sure that West Ham will do pretty well. They have a new manager as well in what's his name, uh, in Julian Lopetegui, who did really well with who did really well with the Wolves for the short time that he was there. And so West Ham, I've got decent expectations for them. Although up next for them are Manchester City, and Manchester City can destroy the very best on their day. And even if it isn't their day, they can absolutely hammer uh, those teams. So I mean, like West Ham lost on the opening weekend to Aston Villa. They beat Crystal Palace on Saturday. So I mean, in terms of that, uh, let's see how West Ham do. They flatter to deceive on occasion. On occasion, yeah, we'll see how West Ham do. Anyways, I touched enough on the Premier League teams. Let's just talk about briefly about some of the big teams in the European continent, and then we'll wrap it up. I've been rambling long enough. Barcelona, Danny Olmo, after letting Gundogan go, they still haven't been able to register Danny Olmo. I doubt they'll be signing many more players or any more players. Nico Gonzalez was linked of Fiorentina, but can't see that happening. Victor Roque or Rock has joined Real Betis on loan. So that might help. Frankie De Jong is still not back. Real Madrid, they've signed Kylian Mbappe. They were rumored to be signing Lenny Yoro, but that deal, I mean, for whatever reason, didn't materialize. And Atletico Madrid, they've signed Jan Musso, or about to sign Jan Musso. They've signed Conor Gallagher. They've signed other players as well. Samu Amorodion has gone to to Porto, although they've only sold 50% of the player. Not sure what that is supposed to mean, and what that is supposed to mean, and they've signed Robin Lenormand, the Spanish international from Real Sociedad, and they've signed other players as well, so which should help strengthen their case in La Liga and Champions League this season. I mean, like people or teams do need more players with more and more games coming quickly. Quickly from all over the place, and yeah, so let's see how the cookie crumbles for teams like these. Um, I mean, Athletic Bilbao have done well to retain Nico Williams, although his wages are so high that not many teams can afford to have him. So so I mean, can afford to have him. So uh, moving on, Juventus. I doubt what kind of I mean doubt is perhaps the wrong word. I don't know what kind of players they'll be signing. They've left so many they've let so many people go. Federico Chiesa is someone who's who's been told to find a new club. They've let Enzo Berenchea go. They've let, their whole new defense is going to be a new one. Gelson Bremer is going to be there, and Gelson Bremer is going to be there. Um, who's that left back? Juan Cuadrado, right back. That the guy that they signed from Sandro, or Sandro something. So Juventus, I'm pretty sure, will be doing some business in the in the coming days. They've been linked with Juventus, with Jadon Sancho, but they've so far not signed him. I don't think they can afford his wages. Fagioli, these kind of players, they'd have to rely on Manuel Locatelli. They've lost Rabiot as well. So let's just check Juventus transfer. Let's just check Juventus's transfer um, business. So I'm sure it's going to show us a big turnover of players. Douglas Luiz, they've signed Kefren Turam, Juan Cabal, Nico Gonzalez. They have signed Nico Gonzalez, and I mean, they've signed a lot of players. Matthias Sula, and they've let a lot of players go as well. So, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of churn of players at Juventus this season, but remains to be seen how they perform in the Serie A and Champions League. They were they were they were going to get banned from Champions League if they were they withdrew from European competitions last season, but they would have been banned anyways. Yeah, let's see what Juventus do in the Serie A. Milan, Emerson Royal, they've signed Alvaro Morata, and yeah, so let's see how it turns out for AC Milan. Inter, I don't think they've signed many players. Uh, Milan Skriniar is probably on his way to Al Nassr or some Saudi Arabian club. I'm not particularly sure of the name. The deal is basically done, as was reported a few minutes ago. So, I mean, let's see how that goes. And and yeah, I mean, I just can't see anyone, challenging Inter for the title. And 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 apparently Liverpool have inquired about Federico Chiesa, which is the big news that is coming in. Liverpool have inquired about Federico Chiesa, and I mean, that would be a big deal for Liverpool. I mean, I hope they do sign him and leave Anthony Gordon aside. So so no, I've discussed Jason. Sancho to Juve, unlikely to happen. By the way, how are you? Yeah, so I've discussed Sancho to Juve, unlikely as it may be. So hopefully you are doing well. Let me see if I can get this chat up and running on the window. And so I have discussed it, as I said, and but I can't see it happening, to be honest, and because unless, yeah, well, the, a lot of people are unlikely, 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 unlikely. I would say. So. So as I was saying, Manchester United, I gave a lot of time to in the first part of the show, uh, and let's see. Manuel Ugarte is the first priority. Hopefully, it gets done. If not, we'll see. We'll see how it happens. And yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, in total they could have 100 players. They could have 100 players. I'm not sure how they'll arrange money for the wages. They don't have a front of the shirt sponsor as well. So we'll see about that. Anyways, Jason, how have you been? It's been long time. So we'll catch up maybe one day. Anyways, so what was I talking about? Juventus, Juventus. I'm not sure what I was like talking about. It just completely gone off track. So, anyways, uh, so Juventus and Napoli, they have a few players as well. Uh, they signed Romelu Lukaku. They signed Romelu Lukaku. They've signed more or less signed Scott McTominay, and it could UNICEF could do more charity. They were once sponsoring the Barcelona team. I mean, might have been some other UNO related body, but might have been some other UN related body. But then There was a time when Barcelona didn't have a front of the shirt sponsor. Then they went to UNICEF. Then they went to Qatar Airlines. Now they, and then there was a time they had a inside of the shirt sponsorship deals, and now I mean they are pulling levers faster than anything else. So yeah, no, I never said Juventus will be challenging Inter. I just think they would be doing well enough to finish second or third. And I would doubt if I never said that Juventus will be challenging Inter. Uh, I, I, and Scott McTominay won't get in Napoli team. Their midfield is good actually. Zamboeng is Zelensky, I think, is still there. Um, Tongi and Dombole is there as well. And there that Slovakian player Stanislav Lobotka. He's a superb player, Slovakian. Or I'm pretty sure he's Slovakian, not Slovenian, but and uh, and Napoli might sign Billy Gilmore from Brighton as well. So I doubt Scott McTominay would be. I mean, if Conte plays long ball to Lukaku, then McTominay can get goals. But let's see. But the defense is good with the what's his name, Juan and De Lorenzo and Mario Rui. These kind of players. I mean, that I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm pretty sure in Italy, Inter will win SerieA, and I mean, unless something, yeah. I mean, let's see if, but I don't think that I don't think that uh, Ten Hag would have the balls to drop Marcus Rashford. He may, but I would not be betting money on it. I'd not be putting money on it. Um, Ten Hag dropping Rashford, although that would make sense. That would make sense, but I'd start Garnacho on the left and Ahmad on the right hand side, and maybe Joshua Zirkzee as the main striker. So yeah, perhaps because he Rashford signed a new contract under under Ten Hag, and so where did that go? So I don't know. Maybe maybe, but Ten Hag himself is under pressure, and if he doesn't toe the party line, then it could be all over for him, and it could be all over for him. Rashford is a bit of a crowd splitter as well. I mean, he's a polarizing figure for a lot of Manchester United fans, and I mean, and I'm pretty sure that if push comes to shove, then Ten Hag would be shoved, and Rashford would just get a tap on the shoulder. So I mean, and Manchester United social media accounts are more or less pushing for Rude. I'm like, it looks like Rude is the manager and not Ten Hag. But I'll give Arne Slot the props. He looks the real deal. The way he talks, the way he walks, and Ten Hag just looks like I mean, comparing just the two of them, I just would say that Ten Hag, Arne Slot cuts a when it comes across as a you know full package a person with an aura about him, and so that was I meant so I think Serie A, in terms of Serie A, we've discussed quite a bit. La Liga, I mean, Real Madrid's title to lose. Barcelona still look like a basket case with Laporta. The thing that they did with Xavi was I'm like some sort of a scam. Yeah, I mean like his English is so good. I mean when compared to uh, when compared to and I don't know if you saw what happened yesterday when he when he was with Sky, and I mean and what he did with Trent when he took him off after 65 70 minutes and brought on Connor Bradley. So that was I have to say I thought he'd be one of those Frank de Boer type of guys, but he looks real and there's and I mean and he looks like a real deal. I mean, if he gets the backing like what Klopp did, he could be like the Bill Bob Paisley to Bill Shankly. You know what Bob Paisley set in, and Bill Shankly set, and Bob Paisley or whatever, who the latter one took advantage of the work the first one did. So that ways, I think it will be that will be I mean Klopp. I mean if he gets good backing, then with Manchester City, let's see what happens with their charges and all alleged charges are not alleged, but they what they do, and because that's how they are, I guess. I mean, Trent is one, then there are others as well, and yeah. So I mean, English players, they are pampered so much. They are pampered so much that that I mean, it's easy not to fall into that kind of a soft bed, and not spoil yourself. Uh, and it's about the upbringing as well, I guess, in their in their in their in their in their thinking. So that ways, I think English, and like it's in terms of game as well. There are in terms of the game. I mean, for now, these are only accusations. We don't know whether. And as I was reading somewhere, these we don't need a right back. We don't need a right back. And as I said, Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Federico Chiesa is being linked with the move to Liverpool. So if Federico Chiesa signs, I think we can. If Federico Chiesa signs, you can bid goodbye to Anthony Gordon. I doubt they'll be spending that much money on on a right wing. They're pretty much sorted. I mean, Nunez and Cody Gakpo can't even get in the team. So Liverpool are pretty much sorted. And yeah, but I wouldn't do it because as far as right back are concerned, Newcastle are much sorted, pretty much sorted with what they have. And Trent, I'm not sure we play that kind of game as well, where Trent, although 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 Trent is a good player, I personally wouldn't do it because Trippier, Livramento are at right back. We are sorted at the right back for the next 6 or 7 years. I would not hesitate in saying that. So that's uh, that's uh, that's my take on it. But I'm I wouldn't do that personally. No, I wouldn't personally do it. Anyways, where were we? We were somewhere. Anyways, so we're talking about La Liga, and we were talking about La Liga, and yeah. So where is it for? And yeah, so yeah, Serie A. Oh, sorry, Liga, Liga. Mason Greenwood is doing good things, good things in terms of footballing things in Marseille, south of France, and and he scored 2 goals last weekend, this weekend as well. I think he scored a couple of goals, but Paris looks strong even without Kylian Mbappe. They've got Gonzalo Ramos, Randall Colomuani. They've got Kangan Lee, Warren Zaire Emery. So I'm pretty sure they'd they'd do well. Leon, I have got high hopes of. They finished last season pretty well. Monaco have signed some good players. The right winger, the name escapes me. He's a good player as well, and and um, who else? I mean, Brest had a good season last time round. Uh, they'd been Champions League, and who else? Le Havre. Not sure how they are going to cope in this season, and so we'll see how it goes uh, in the Liga. Not sure how many matches will be live in India, and we'll see. We will see. Eredivisie, Ajax. have become bit of a basket case, and Ajax have become a bit of a basket case. PSV have lost players. Feyenoord, even though that Santiago Jimenez deal looks more or less dead, then more or less dead, then uh, but remains to be seen. Joey Veerman, I think, is going. Jody Shoughton is going as well. Till I'm not sure what happens with him, and so let's see, how and where we end up in Eredivisie. But we Eindhoven do look quite. I mean, I do agree that football has become boring to watch. In fact, I was going to work on a game, Aston Villa versus Arsenal, but I I fell asleep, and it. I mean, especially Premier League. I mean, there's just so much football, etc. There's so much being made of it, but then there are a lot of people who are earning good money out of it, and it's become an industry where people are taking advantage of as well. The more money out of it, the better. And I mean, there was a time on Monday you couldn't wait for the game, but I mean, it's the money that has come in. It's taken. I mean, it was only on Twitter, not in India, but the Sky Sports coverage of the game, where it was all about big clubs, top six clubs. Uh, it's become a bit of a, it's become a bit of a, it's become a bit of a. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, have to say it's become more of a European Super League. It has become a bit of a boring phenomena. I mean, I have to agree. I mean, I I genuinely don't enjoy watching Newcastle United that much either. That's how their situation is. And there was a time where even on work duty, I would be like opening the Newcastle News Now page, going through that, and yeah. So that was the whole I mean, idea of it. Football used to be escapism, but I mean, they are basically copying Newcastle United now, to be honest. I mean, they are building a stack as well, just like Newcastle, and that I mean, everything. The Aston Villa, now they've got Adidas as sponsors after Newcastle. They basically they're building. I mean, like, they are making banners, putting them up for display before the game. So basically, copying Newcastle all over the shop. They are and so they are basically. I mean, uh, they are rich, or a poor man's Newcastle in a way. They if it wasn't for injuries, I'm pretty sure Newcastle would have finished above Aston Villa. But this season I'm doubtful, because Eddie Howe is getting on my nerve, and with some of his antics, and and I mean and that ways it's a bit of a it's a bit of a it's a bit of a mess, to be honest, and and it's a bit, bit of a mess. I mean, like, I agree on one point for sure that football is I mean, yeah, each one to his own. I guess at least Newcastle play good football. I mean, I'm not saying Manchester United play bad, but in the first half, for me, it's at least Newcastle were, oh, Brighton were far better than uh, Manchester United, who were let's put it mildly, not good at all. Just realized I've been rambling on for close to 2 hours. I mean, like 115 minutes. Yesterday, I mean, like I spoke so much in the Chelsea Wolves game. My mouth was hurting in the Liverpool Brentford game, uh, and Noni Madueke hat trick. So yeah, uh, yeah. So this weekend, Liverpool versus. No, the football is pretty good. The football is pretty good, but just the way he's like I think he's used as a using that England job, potential England job, as a bit of a lightning rod sort of a thing, and he, I mean, like, no, at no other big club would he get this carte blanche. The main guy would always be the sporting, and the owners, especially. I'm not saying like the Saudi Arabian PF would do that, but owners would want their thinking imprinted on the football pitch. But the football is pretty good. Just that how and all that British bullshit that he is after. We've signed one player who out of last 10 who's non-British, and he was banned for 10 months. Otherwise, all players from British clubs. And like, I mean, if we've been linked with another goalkeeper, that would make it six goalkeepers in the squad. So, and he refuses to sell bullshit players. So how? I mean, like, and how are we going to manage and balance the books? So, so that ways, I'm a bit, uh, I'm like, how is rubbing me up the wrong way and don't get it. Right. No, they had Sven, they had Capello, they never won anything, and once again, rest in peace to Sven Göran Eriksson, who passed away earlier today. And I mean, I mean, so Fabio Capello and Eriksson weren't great shakes, and Pochettino is going to US probably. Klopp will never coach again, I don't think. He may, but this PFA, what this PFA, and this Manchester City arbitration case is is I mean, like, once that reaches its conclusion, I'm pretty sure that we will. It's PIF, Public Investment Fund. It's called. that's PLA. What China's PLI or PLA Liberation Army or whatever it's called. So so that is what it is. Hopefully, if we were if we were allowed to spend as much money as Manchester City, we would be signing players. We would be signing players. I mean, like left, right, and center. Although I'm pretty happy with the way PIF have been doing business as well. So let's see what happens. I mean, and let's see what happens with with the transfer window. 4 and a bit days left. I mean, 4 hours, 4 days, 4 hours, 4 days, 4 hours. Yeah, and I'll be doing like last 6 or 7 hours of the transfer window live on Friday. Hopefully, some of you can join me. Maybe on this channel and can join me on this stream as well. We can make arrangements for that, and then let's discuss how it goes on Friday. So let's see. I've been rambling long enough, and it's uh, it's uh, it's uh, it's uh, it's now it's now it's now what 11:45 as well. So yeah. So guys, anyone else watching, please do subscribe to the channel and do leave a like. And Jason, if you are free, let's catch up on a phone call. If not now, then maybe tomorrow or sometime later in the week. And let's just wrap this thing up. Let's just wrap this thing up. I've been talking for 2 hours. My face and mouth are both beginning to hurt, and we'll do some research and then it will be time for bed. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch up in during the rest of the week, and especially on Friday with not only the UEFA Europa League conference qualifiers, UEFA Europa League qualifiers, and more importantly the transfer window special that I'll be doing. Hopefully we will see some breaking news coming in, some exciting transfers towards the end of the window. There are always some deals that happen which leave us gasping for breath, which do leave us thinking, why wasn't it this earlier done earlier? Have some teams broken their veil or the face, the mask, has it been removed, or how, what's the saying goes, the mask has been uncovered, or I mean the saying is however it is called. So in terms of that, we will see how it goes. I certainly hope Newcastle United sign some players. For God's sakes, I mean, like, I'm sick and tired of linked with goalkeepers. Manchester United, they need to move Deadwood on, Jadon Sancho, Jadon Sancho, Scott McTominay. His deal needs to be, you know, made official. Hannibal Mabry is moved on. So let's see what happens. So I'll see you in my next few videos. Till then, all of you, please take care, and I'll see you in my next few video. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye for now.